Colossal from 2016 is a movie that's been on my radar for a very long time. I'm a huge kaiju movie fan and I'm a huge Anne Hathaway fan, so it kind of is beyond my grasp as to why I haven't seen this movie yet, but I decided to watch it with a buddy of mine. I enjoyed it, but it was not quite what I was expecting. I understood that Anne Hathaway's character, Gloria, is this kind of loser alcoholic person who somehow is able to control a monster that is invading Seoul in South Korea. So what surprised me a lot about this film is that it gets very dark tonally, and Jason Sudeikis' character takes such a heel turn in the middle of this movie that it gave me whiplash. It gets very dark, very abusive trauma, generational trauma stuff. And I did enjoy the movie, but it was not what I was expecting, which doesn't make it bad. I say this a lot just because it's not what you expected, or the other way. If it was too predictable, that doesn't make it bad, but it still was kind of right down the middle for me. That's why I gave it a 2.5. Next, Up and Under is a movie that's obscure enough that I can't find a trailer of it. The whole movie is on YouTube, so I'll put a link if you want to go see it. It's a sports comedy. It's the kind that you've seen a million times. The trope of the underdog team making a big splash at the end, and there's even training montages and all that stuff. But this one is really down to earth. It's about a minor league rugby team and a former retired player who makes a bet with a buddy of his who runs a team that he can train a team to beat the best team. So the plot of the movie is that he meets these guys, trains them up with the help of a female fitness instructor who at the end of the movie joins the team. It's comical, it's funny, it's inspirational. It has all the earmarks of one of these kinds of movies, and I actually really liked it. It's based on a play that is way more common than the movie, it seems. If you search Up and Under trailer on YouTube, you'll get a bunch of previews for local productions of the play Up and Under, so I found that to be very interesting. But if you're in the mood for an underdog sports movie, this is definitely one I can recommend. Memoria is a movie that was in my orbit because it seems that it's very hard to get a hold of. There's no physical release of it, and it's not on any streaming services that I'm aware of. So it seems that people are annoyed that it's not very accessible. That made me want to see it even more out of a sense of FOMO, and I do enjoy Tilda Swinton most of the time, so I was in for this. Very early on, it became apparent to me that this is the kind of movie that goes glacially slow, and I've talked about slow burns on this channel a lot and what actually constitutes a slow burn. Just because a movie isn't John Wick or The Avengers doesn't mean that it's a slow burn. This movie gives new meaning to the term, and I'm hesitant to even call it a slow burn because it doesn't burn towards anything. This movie is more of a meditation. It asks a lot of the viewer, and I was not bought in. I tried to just settle in and enjoy the excruciatingly long shots of Tilda Swinton walking around, or a guy laying on the ground, or any of the other things that go on in this film. There is a little bit of a story. There's some really cool cosmic connections you can make. It's a light sci-fi concept to the movie. In the same way that Skinamarink did, I tried to get bought into the movie. I tried to like it, but it really just tried my patience way too much to the point where I didn't get a ton of enjoyment out of it. The Autopsy of Jane Doe, like Colossal, is another movie that has been in my orbit for a long time. It's been on my radar. It's been one of those movies that you say, oh, I want to watch that. Everybody talks about it. Everybody always says how good it is. It has Brian Cox in it and Emile Hirsch, who play a father and son duo of coroners or medical examiners, you could say, that run a funeral home and they do autopsies in the basement. The movie is about a Jane Doe who comes in, who, when they start doing the autopsy, it's very mysterious, and there's some really weird stuff going on with her, and the movie becomes kind of a haunted house situation, and I won't spoil it, but what it ends up being is a little bit underwhelming, but I still am glad I saw this one, but I don't think it lived up to the hype. Maybe because I took so long to see it, it was built up in my head as something that was going to be like incredible and amazing, and it was just a cool movie. It wasn't off the charts amazing. I will say this is a very unique performance from Olwen Catherine Kelly, who throughout the whole movie just lays there naked on a table, and she does an effective job of being creepy in that performance, which is very unique and something you don't often see. So good job on her. Influencer from 2022 is a thriller / maybe horror movie about a young Instagrammer who goes to Thailand, and she gets caught up in the orbit of a young woman who tries to show her around, and things aren't quite what they seem. And I don't want to give away too much about this movie because I thought it was quite good, and I think the more blind you go in, the better. I really like the environments in this movie. It actually was shot partly in Thailand, so seeing all that stuff was really cool. It was really well shot. I also like that it wasn't cynical or hateful towards influencer culture or influencers themselves. There is an element to that, but I think the film says, like it or not, this is a way to make a living. So I do recommend this one. Lips of Blood is the second Jean Roland film I've seen, the first one being Two Orphan Vampires, which I really loved. So I had high hopes for checking out more of his work. And I'm not sure if I watched his best movie with Two Orphan Vampires, but to me, Lips of Blood was quite a step down. Now, granted, it was made 30 years earlier, so I take that into account, but I didn't enjoy this one nearly as much. It's another sexy vampire movie, which is one of my favorite genres of film, so I give a lot of leeway for the kind of schlocky sleaze that goes on in this movie, but it just didn't really land with me. There are some beautiful scenes, a lot of nudity, and all that stuff is great, but I just didn't connect with the story, and this was a very personal story apparently to the director himself, so good on him, but I didn't connect with it. I'm definitely not giving up on Jean Roland, but this movie just made me want to watch Two Orphan Vampires again. Dream Scenario is a movie that makes you want to watch it just based on the high concept principle of the movie, which is a lowly college professor is appearing in people's dreams, and he becomes famous because of this. I thought, above all, this was a good exploration of a low status man and how his actions complicate things. He makes a lot of really bad decisions. He cannot keep his emotions under control, and I think Nicolas Cage kind of nailed this kind of low status male who you would not really want in your life, let alone your dreams. I thought it was kind of front loaded, very fast paced in the beginning. About in the halfway point, or maybe the final third, it starts meandering a little, and you wonder like where were they going with this? How are they going to close it out? And it ends on a kind of bittersweet tone, which makes sense. And I'm glad I finally checked this one out. It's definitely worth watching, especially if you're a Nicolas Cage fan. He's been doing a lot of great movies lately, and this definitely is one that has some very cool concepts and also some extremely funny stuff that is also uncomfortable. If you like those kind of scenes that make you squirm and laugh at the same time, there's quite a few of those in this film. So that'll do it for this week. I appreciate all the new subscribers. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.